there's something that I want to take issue with. There is incorrect ideas about third worldism. Particularly, there is a fake third worldist idea out there. Now, some people believe this is a part of third worldism because there are people claiming to be third worldist who are doing this. So I can understand why the confusion would be there, why people would think that. So it's perfectly rational that this mistake would be made. So I don't really blame those people. I blame the fake third worldists that are pushing this incorrect line, or at least would be incorrect according to our particular ideology. Now, one of those things is Sakaiism. Now, we've all heard Reed Settlers. I would recommend probably reading it, but not taking it too seriously. Essentially, TLDR, Sakaiism is, well, white people evil. Now, that's a very anatized version of it. Essentially, it says that there is no white proletariat, etc., and that black Americans are the biggest victims on the face of the earth, which is not true. The third world would be. I mean, I don't think it's anything controversial to say that a white person who lives in a third world country has less privilege than a black person who lives in a first world country. I mean, that should be pretty obvious, and that maybe class is something that's a little bit more important in terms of Marxist theory than race. So the problem is that, well, oppression really does exist. Race oppression does exist in the first world. I'm not saying it doesn't. I wouldn't say that. Although I'm certain a few people would claim I said that because they're dishonest assholes. Let me put it to you this way. Essentially, this kind of Sakaiism, which not necessarily comes down to Jay Sakai himself, but many of the people who follow what he wrote, in that it would be everything but white males-ism. Now, there's at least one fake third worldist group I can think of which pushes this line. It says trans, women, every ethnic minority is inherently revolutionary in the first world, and all of the third world is revolutionary. So it's a tantamount to saying everything but white maleism. I mean, this kind of nonsensical position is essentially social justice warrior thinking, which is fine if you're a social justice warrior, but not if you're a Marxist. Now, here's the problem. That directly contradicts third worldism, and that's my issue. If you want to believe Sakaiism, or you're just a straight-up liberal with a Marxist aesthetic, that's fine. That's what your ideology is, and that would make sense to you. But not if you're a third worldist, because this Sakaiism and third worldism ultimately contradict each other. Because we stand by the idea that the first world is privileged enough that it has no significant revolutionary potential, and that the working class of the first world is bought off with social democratic reforms, wages which exceed their contribution to the labor process, etc. I don't have the time to go into all that, but that's the theory. So if you were to say that black people in the United States don't benefit from imperialism, which is the assumption under Sakaiism, then you'd be contradicting yourself. I mean, it's as if, black people don't use the same roads as white people, or they don't use the same government programs as white people. A poor white person in the first world gets welfare the same as a poor black person in the first world gets welfare, or particularly the United States. There's a particular United States connotation to all of this. So black people in the first world do benefit from imperialism. Maybe not to the degree that white people do, but they certainly do. This contradicts Sakaiism, which essentially says the opposite. So you cannot be a Sakaist and a third worldist. You can be one or the other. They are mutually exclusive. If you want to be a Sakaist, go ahead. That's first worldism, and I don't expect any significant portion of the Marxist community to come to a correct political line. They will come to the one that they feel makes them feel better, or what have you. As a third worldist, this position is unacceptable. So that would be the only problem that I have. is that these two are mutually exclusive things. However, you do have a fake third worldist group running a group that claims to uphold third worldism that does do it, and they are essentially contradicting themselves. So that's the problem. So if you see someone who claims to be a third worldist but pushes this ID pole, remind them that they're contradicting themselves, and that one does not have anything to do with the other, and that you cannot be a Sakaiist, you cannot read Settlers and agree with it, and also be a third worldist.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.